Hello friends, we have Catherine here and we have a very special violin. So this violin was a garage sale find, honestly. It was just bought as is, didn't even know what it was inside. Long story short, it had a small lower belly crack and it looked like a little bit of drop damage at the bottom. So we took it to Joshua Waybright in North Texas. He added kind of reamed out the bottom and added a bushing at the lower peg, or not the lower peg, the lower button. And then we also repaired the lower middle crack. So it's put back together. It's here with Catherine, and we have some new strings on it, and she'll delve into that. But quick other thing is with Catherine, if you don't follow this, Catherine, I hire her. She's an independent third party. She's a music teacher. She's highly educated in violin, everything. She's here to tell you her honest opinion of this violin. So she's not paid to sway it in any way. So this helps support credibility in those online buyers that aren't here or can't be here in hand to hear and feel how it is. So she'll tell you how it sounds in person, hopefully kind of get how it feels in hand, so you can make the best buying decision without physically being here. Without further ado, here's Catherine and the Neuner.
Let's take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous red color. I love the kind of reddish, it's like almost like a henna color somehow. Really reminds me, I don't know why, it just makes me think of Scotland for some reason. But it's just a very beautiful, like orangey warm red. Earlier we had dominance on these, and I thought, in my opinion, I thought the dominants were a little bit weaker on this instrument, and so we switched over to the Jargar Evoke strings, which you can see by the blue color down here. And by changing to these strings, it really allowed the instrument to have more of a powerful sound. As you just heard, I love the little wah-wahs that I heard with the vibrato on the E string. It just had those lovely wah-wahs, which is my non-professional term for just a lovely ringing sound. So, but this instrument definitely has a very powerful and big sound. I heard it just reverberating off of all of the walls in here. It was really cool, but beautiful, beautiful big sound from all the way from the G string up to the E string. these strings were changed pretty recently. And so whenever you just change your strings on an instrument, the strings do go a little bit out of tune, which is perfectly normal. You just have to make sure to keep retuning it until the strings fully break in, and they will hold its tuning more or less according to the weather, whether you've been taking your instrument around. But lovely upper G string register. I loved how the vibrato really sunk into the string, and it had such a vocal effect on the instrument. And the G string, I didn't hear any wolf tones at all. And if you've seen some other videos of John's of Reviva violins, you've probably heard the term wolf tone before, but if you're new here, a wolf tone is essentially when you play a specific note on a string and it creates two different sound waves and they clash against each other, and it creates a very fluttery sound. And so it sounds like there's a tiny fan hitting against the string. So I didn't hear any wolf tones at all. And by the way, wolf tones it never means that an instrument is of a lesser quality or a higher quality. It just sometimes happens with an instrument, and I haven't ever delved into the reason why, but I'm sure that there is a scientific explanation for it. If you do have a wolf tone on an instrument, there's a little thing that you can put on your G string, or that you can tack onto the wood, that will eliminate and lessen the wolf tone. But I would say a good portion of instruments have it. So, but of course this instrument does not have it. I did not hear it up in the G string register or whenever I played the scales earlier today. Overall though, just again, like we just heard, it just has such a powerful direct sound. I love how the vibrato sounds on this instrument. It really allows the vibrato to speak very well. Sometimes instruments don't allow that. And vibrato is where I wiggle my fingers like this, and it creates it creates this wiggle in the pitch that makes the note sound all pretty. So overall, this instrument has a very extroverted sound, a very big sound. I want to play that one of the pieces that I played earlier again. With the strings in tune so that you can hear a bit more of the resonance, because when the strings go a little out of tune, it dampens the resonance just a tiny bit. So I wanted to play one of the pieces again. Wow, this was huge sound. I really love how powerful this instrument is. I can't stress that enough. It has such a huge sound. And so this instrument is pretty comfortable to play. It has a little bit of a thinner neck than some of the instruments that I have played. And so I really like that because it's a bit easier to play with my left hand when the neck is just a tiny bit thinner. The strings are at a very nice height to where I don't have to push them down so hard, and I can just kind of let the natural weight of my fingers sink right onto the string. So this is a very easy to play violin. It's very comfortable, very easy to play, not too heavy, and I find that my hand glides up and down very easily. There's no resistance. So if you want a loud and comfortable instrument, I would say this is the one for you. Great for those intermediate to advanced players, and if you're wanting to take this into the professional world, I think that it would serve you very well. But I think late intermediate to advanced is a great starting point for this instrument.
Beautiful demo, Catherine. I do want to point out, and really controversial, is the tailpiece. So this is a very lightweight, it's a composite Wittner tailpiece, it has 4 built-in fine tuners. So it's easier to tune, and but a lot of the purists do like the ebony tailpiece with the single fine tuner. So that does change the sound a lot. To Catherine's point, you know, it's set up kind of as it is. There's a lot more sound that can be gotten out of this violin. Just for the broad buyers out there on the internet, I did a poll, and most do like these fine tuners. So whether you're a fiddler, whether you're, you know, intermediate to advanced, if you're a professional, you already know what strings you're going to put on here, and you already know what tailpiece you want. So if that makes a difference to you in your buying decisions, I'm happy to put on an ebony tailpiece of your desired millimeters. I mean, we can measure this out and do it completely to spec. I just do this one to be the most general for all the buying population out there. So that said, if you have comments and weigh one way or another on the tailpiece, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But I want to say thank you for spending your time with us, with Catherine, and with this Mittenwald German Neuner violin. So a little piece of history talking to you today. Thanks, my friends, and play on.